Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth Pregame.
Hey, this thing on? Hello, testing.
No debate, cause they sold. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant.
What's up, Twitter world? There's my little OJ.
He's got an autographed OJ photo.
Has anybody heard the story about the Glizzy guy?
He fits today's generation.
Oh yeah, speaking of lady basketball players, Lola Bunny, bonkable. Yes or no?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth Pregame. Okay, StreamYard, I give up. I don't know what to do now. That just double played our intro. I'm lost here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Korner Booth Pregame. It's a Thursday. It is hot as hell in Connecticut. My AC ain't up yet, so we're going McAfee style with the tank top. Happy to be here as always. We got a special guest coming on later. He is one returning guest. He hasn't been on a very long time, actually. We also have Matt joining us at about 7:30-ish. He's running a little late today. I just wanted to do the show for obviously a few reasons. One, we missed you last week. Obviously, there was stuff to talk about. It's been a fun week. What's funny? If you told me that I was going to have the WNBA as the headline of my show, I would be like, oh, it's Caitlin Clark, right? I'm like, it's Caitlin Clark adjacent, but it's still very fun. Obviously, we'll talk about Sophie Cunningham in a little bit. We have a new KB draft coming up probably towards the end of the show when Matt gets here. A lot of stuff to talk about. So I guess first off, we'll start with the Baltimore Ravens. They picked up Jair Alexander for a 1-year deal. So congrats to, I believe it's a 1-year deal. I have to get clarification when Nate gets back. His wife had just died. I love the move for the Ravens. You add him with Nate Wiggins and obviously with Kyle Hamilton, along with the rest of that defense, hopefully to get Lamar more, I'd say more, support in the back end. The issue with the Ravens last year was they really struggled when it mattered, obviously on offense. And they couldn't really put it away, I believe, against the Bills. The problem is the NFL playoffs were a blur to me because I was sick the entire time, and so could too with the Eagles. But I do believe they lost to the Bills last year. And the biggest thing I remember about that game was Baltimore couldn't stop Josh Allen. That's drilling in my head, unless I'm forgetting they couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes. They couldn't stop the opposing team's quarterback. So forgive me for the correction there. I do like this move. I think Baltimore is at their best when they have an elite defense and the offense to go with it. I think it fits better for their culture. I think it's a really kind of cool way for them to continue what they've built off of since the old days with like Brian Billick and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and Tony Tony Saragusa and all the guys on that OG defense. But I'm a really big fan of the Jair move. I think it's going to work great for their system. I would have loved them to go to Philly. Apparently, we're in allegedly on Asante Samuel Jr. It'd be cool to have both father and son play for the same team. Anybody who knows me knows Asante Samuel. Big fan of him over here. Definitely like it a lot. I think the biggest thing right now is we're going to start seeing as we go farther into the NFL offseason, we're going to see a lot more of these like vet minimum, injured vet deals that kind of come along because they kind of have to at this point. A lot of these guys are waiting to see how like draft picks turn out, how like certain things in terms of contract negotiations, salary cap, cuts, who's injured. So like July through like middle of August, when we see all the kind of the mid-tier free agents, the Keenan Allens, the obviously I said Asante Samuel Jr. Now we just saw Jair Alexander. Even he was a late cut, which I mean, listen, Green Bay's been on a roll this offseason. We could talk about the whole thing regards to, the tush push, the failing to stop it on and off the field. We could also talk about the fact that now they had to cut a player because nobody would take their price tag, and now he's about to sign and probably make it farther than they will in the playoffs next year. So I think Green Bay has definitely been one of the most interesting teams in the offseason because, everyone talks about, they got Matthew Golden. They finally drafted a receiver in the first round. It's like, yeah, but now they don't really have – I don't believe in Jordan Love. I haven't at all. I thought it was he had cool mechanics coming out of Utah. I believe it was Nevada. And I thought he was a fun story in that 2020 draft because, we all talked about Burrow, Tua, Herbert, and then that guy number 1 for Philadelphia is pretty good too in the second round. But Jordan Love, you kind of forget, was part of that 2020 draft class. My favorite moment about that is Ty Schmidt from the McAfee show losing his mind over it. Anyway, I got to say one of the biggest things that I love about the NFL offseason, right, is right now, and it is a weird thing to love, right? It's kind of a calm, quiet. You kind of see all the cheesy content, all the really bold predictions, and everyone's comparing everyone. I think one of my favorite things was ESPN last week got caught by Dove Keelman, which, as much as you don't like a lot of his tweets and how he sometimes can fabricate stuff, especially the Mike Lombardi stuff with the McAfee show, got a little hairy there. He did tweet something, and the headline after an amazing, I believe it was game 3 between Indiana and Golden in Oklahoma City. It's a Golden State. God help me. We had the headline was what is Dak Prescott's legacy going into the season, or something related to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And, and there's also the rumors about ESPN upgrading their service to, what is it, $30 a month or whatever. It's basically so you're basically back to paying for cable. Because I don't know about y'all, I do about $110 between Apple TV and YouTube TV. I was able to kind of share the load of the streaming service with everybody. But I think somebody did the math. You need every streaming service except for, I believe, HBO Max to watch the NFL this year, to watch every single NFL game, which is out of control. But that's here nor there. Honestly, it's kind of funny. I'm kind of sitting here and I'm ranting by myself because Nate's internet's out. Matt's running late. Our guest is a no-show as of right now. So show must go on, obviously, for me. So if you got any questions in the comments, please let me know what's going on. If you have any questions regarding, obviously, what we are talking about today. We'll talk about the WNBA in a minute or so. I kind of want to touch on game 6 tonight, okay? The Indiana Pacers, I'm kind of, I don't know how to word this correctly. The Indiana Pacers, to me, I was rooting for them, obviously. I clearly have made it very public about my distaste of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, 1, because they beat me, but 2, I don't like SGA the way he plays. I am not a fan of this whole foul bait and foul the hell out of the opposing team. Not my favorite thing in this world. So I look at the NBA right now, and I kind of, maybe I got to take this on the shins a little bit as an NBA, I guess as a second-tier fan, because to me it's behind, obviously, college football, pro football, and Major League Baseball. But I don't know, maybe I got to hear from other secondary fans here, because I look at it from a standpoint of, I don't like seeing Oklahoma City win. It was fun, and they were fun to root for years ago, but the way they're winning, it's almost like you see the underdog finally win in a movie, but they're winning it in a cheap way, and you're just kind of it's like so anticlimactic and kind of depressing. It's kind of like the hero's journey in a story, and then the hero gets cheat code or finds some slimy way to win, and now they win, and you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of depressing. It's odd to me tonight. I'm not really the biggest fan of this series. It kind of is depressing because, basketball is a very fun sport, and it's killing me to watch it. I'm not going to lie. At the end of the day, the NBA is still going to have the ratings. They're still going to do okay. Tyrese Halliburton is officially playing tonight, so that's good news, obviously, for Indiana. I would love, one, because I put money on the Pacers in 7, which means they got to win out anyway for them to win the whole thing. But I really, really, really would love to see them just kind of just take, even if it's just a buzzer beater tonight, just this series to go to 7, I think would be so great. Even if they end up losing, it just feels so anticlimactic. Oklahoma City winning back-to-back games all out of nowhere after them being down 2-1. So, that's my thoughts. I got Indiana tonight, obviously. Would love to see them get one more in. At least send this to, I believe the game will be played on Sunday. Probably Sunday or Saturday night. Either way, I would love it. Some NFL news. There's still no update currently, according to James Palmer of NFL Network, about Micah Parsons' contract. I seriously think they're going to deal Micah. I do not have an inkling of confidence in my mind that they'll keep him past this season. I didn't even think he was going to play this season. I thought that he was going to get moved to the draft. I was wrong. I'm going to stick to that because in all seriousness, I think the way the Cowboys are playing themselves, I thought they were going to tank. I still think they're going to tank. I think with Brian Schottenheimer now being their head coach, a guy that nobody even asked to interview is now your head coach. When you had multiple good other options in the market back in February, January, whenever. It's weird. I don't know why they didn't even try to make an attempt at Kellen Moore. It's just an odd. It's an odd situation, Dallas. I guess the best way to put it is like I love it as an Eagles fan personally because it's like one less team I got to worry about like being a threat in the division. I keep telling Nate the Giants are on the right track. They just can't Giants their way out of it, and the Commanders are everyone's darling. Like it's kind of turning into this whole thing. Like there now, I'm seeing a lot of people, analysts. I talk to listeners on the show who either I go to the gym with or I will see around. I'll get a text message from. We'll talk ball, and everyone's telling me the Commanders are the team to beat now, and I love that. I truly do. I think the biggest problem with the Commanders is that everyone was so excited about the run they went on. And I really look at their entire roster up, down. They have some fun players. They really do. And I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. Everything about him from his anticipation, his accuracy, his mobility. Our guest, by the way, is not making it. He kind of did me dirty just now, and I'm kind of annoyed, but he gave me a lame excuse. But that's just par for the course at this point. But it's okay. Nate's Wi-Fi is still dead, so I'm going to keep going. Appreciate all y'all for sticking the 25, 17, 8. Wow, keeps going up. Appreciate y'all stopping by and hanging out with me tonight. But last thing about the Commanders. It's kind of a weird. I don't want people falling into the same trap we all fell into with the Texans this past season. We all thought, listen, they still want a playoff game because, Joe Burrow and the Chargers just found the way to lose. But I look at the Commanders and I'm thinking they could easily go 10-7. I don't trust their secondary. I think Marshawn Lattimore is on the back end. He's not aging like a Jair Alexander or a Darius Slay where it's like, okay, he's going to keep playing well, or Joe Hayden will keep playing well. I feel like he's going to start having that drop off. I don't trust the running back core because they don't utilize Brian Robinson enough for what he truly brings to the table. And I think Deebo Samuel was a one-hit wonder. He had that one good year of utilizing him as a multi-purpose back. I think the holdout killed his talent and his stock. I think it's almost too late now to kind of bring that back. And I still think, is everyone much dogs on Philadelphia for what happened with they lost all these great defensive players, right? truly, it kind of comes back to this whole thing of, hey, they're still the champs, and you replace CJ Gardner-Johnson, who was a talented player, and I have a hilariously love-hate relationship with that man. I am not the biggest fan of his off-field stuff. I when players do too much off the field, I get a little weirded out. Maybe it's because I'm a normal-minded human being who looks at it as like, okay, I can maybe do focus on two things outside of my work. Right now, this is my primary focus, even with my day job as a logistics assistant. I'm working as a mover, right? That's my current job, according to the state. Everyone knows I've had experience as a mover for a while, and it's my day job, and it's a mindless physical job. You know, I probably lost about 4 pounds of sweat today, but it's not cerebral like playing an NFL sport. Even when I had a legitimate job, I could focus on my friends and sport and this. So my fitness suffered. I had to get better balancing. So maybe you could balance three things, but to me, like when players have too much stuff, whether it's the streaming, the music, whatever, it always kind of, I'm like, shouldn't you be just not doing, like, I love seeing guys like Jamar Chase and AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry. You don't hear anything about their off-field exploits. They'll go on podcasts, they'll talk, they'll bullshit, whatever. But then they're back in the lab working. I don't know, it's something about like the off-season thing. But anyway, I digress. So CJ Gardner-Johnson gets replaced by, it's going to either be Andrew Makuba, a hard-hitting safety out of Texas, or Sidney Brown, who is the Tasmanian devil on wheels. He is just pure energy. And I have been talking so much, I didn't even take a sip of beer. Phenomenal, by the way. Quick little shout out, I guess, to Little House Brewing, Connecticut, by the way. No. Oh yeah, Connecticut, sweet. Very good beer. It's a double New England IPA. It's called Rare Candy. Sensational. And the other thing that cracks me up about the Eagles defense is they got younger and faster. I love Brandon Graham so much, and I thought his send-off was like a storybook ending, right? And you talk to 95% of NFL fans, they don't really have a bad thing to say about Brandon Graham, other than maybe he's a championship-level shit talker. So it was cool seeing him get his send-off, but he didn't play at all, basically from, I believe, the Rams game when we beat them on Sunday Night Football. Oh, the Super Bowl. And he was replaced by J.Oaks Hunt, who had a crazy, amazing rookie season. Nolan Smith stepped up a lot. And then you get some like Milton Williams here and Josh Sweat there. And Josh Sweat was the big one out of the place. I love the Josh Uchi signing. I think it's cool. The kid out of Virginia Tech we took in the 7th round, who has like 3 names, who I cannot pronounce it, and I won't even attempt to. He's phenomenal. I watched him wreak havoc against Miami, against a future first-round pick, future offensive tackle, Francis Mauigoa. Or no, sorry. Yeah, I think it's Frankie Mauigoa was the left tackle. Or the right tackle, and he's projected top 10 pick, and this dude was working. It was ugly. So my biggest, I think, with the Eagles defense is how quickly do the new guys assimilate into the new system, right? And I know it's gonna be growing pains, and I said it on our Monday show. I think Philadelphia roughly goes 12-5. If you want a gun to my head, I have to say what Philadelphia's right. They're going to go 12-5. I think the biggest problem is they have a hard schedule. I think they're 4th in hard schedule. And that's preseason. We don't know how records will shake up and everything else. So that could change. I think a lot of the big issues with this team are going to be complacency. Obviously, you won't get it from the guys like Hurts, Smith, most of the offensive linemen, the leaders, but it's the young guys. It's about, are they going to be okay? Like, hey, we won a Super Bowl in our first year. Is Quinyon going to still bring in as hard as he does as a freshman? Coop and Ricky Reed are doing their podcast now. It's about making sure that the hunger's still there. And so, like, I see you got AJ Brown posting all these crazy things. Like he's not happy with the Super Bowl. He wants more. Awesome. I love it. I love seeing Jalen Hurts working at 4:00 in the morning. Every NFL team should want to see their quarterback do that stuff. So I think the Eagles still win the division. I still think they are the team to beat the NFC. I think the Rams are going to be scary. I think Devontae Adams is a big upgrade over Cooper Kupp for availability and scheme fit. Everyone knows how high I am on Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford. I think that the NFC South is going to be such a inward black hole of wins and losses that some team's going to win. I think the Bucs still sneak out of it because I love Baker and Tampa. I think it's like the best late quarterback. I think this is better than Kurt going to the Vikings. I think this is one of those or Kurt Warner go. I think this is up there with like Kurt Warner going to the Cardinals. Maybe he's not going to get to a Super Bowl like Kurt did, but the impact it's had on an organization that hasn't really not had a good quarterback besides Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady's the only good quarterback they had. And Baker's kind of been it for them. So I guess it's about time we discuss the elephant in the room, or the I'd say the fun thing that is the WNBA is slowly turning into the UFC, which I think is hilarious. And this isn't a joke about ratings. I think it's more or less like, hey, there is a lot of physical confrontation, and I'm seeing a lot of creators right now. And like, look, I have never talked WNBA until this season. Or even I talked a little bit last season, obviously, because of Caitlin Clark. I'm a big fan of hers. I love her game. I think she's very entertaining. I am an Indiana Fever fan because of her. I like watching WNBA. I will watch a Fever game because of her. I have a new favorite player. It's Sophie Cunningham. Girl's a black belt. And she's also like kind of like this kind of enforcer kind of role with the Indiana Fever. And I kind of, so last night, obviously, everyone knows I'm from Connecticut, right? Shout out to my city state that I love and hate at the same time. We have one pro sports team, the Connecticut Sun. They've always been pretty good at basketball. They were smacked by the Fever last night. And I'm not going to lie, it was a really, really fun kind of back and forth game for a little bit. And then you just saw the physicality. Caitlin Clark was getting attacked, man. And I don't even remember the girl's name. I think it was maybe JC. Something. I don't even remember her name. And I honestly don't really care because I probably won't remember it at all. And it's kind of the same line of insert WNBA player because I can't name half the average guys on an NBA team, much less a WNBA team. Anyway, Cunningham gets into it with this girl because she's the one who kind of eye poked Caitlin Clark. And I love seeing that finally the Fever have their rally, right? They're realizing this girl's their ticket to winning the damn thing. I still think the Fever are going to win the title. And everyone's like, oh, what about the Aces? What about the Spartans? Like, yeah, they're fun. Breaking my girl Kelsey Plum. That's a fun combination out there in Los Angeles. And the Aces still have Asia Wilson, and she's sensational. The Mercury losing Diana Taurasi last year, obviously, she's like the Michael Jordan, or close to the Michael Jordan, LeBron James of the WNBA. She was something special too. I just think with Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, it's so cool. I love seeing it's more of an attitude, there's more of a physicality to it. And I just loved seeing her just go 1-on-4 underneath the basket after a hard foul. I'm like, from teammate and sportsmanship alone, that was cool. But I just thought it was fun. And also, apparently she's popped up my TikTok algorithm all of a sudden. So either way, but shout out to Sophie Cunningham for just being a fun part of the game. But yeah, so the WNBA also needs just, I could go on a rant for hours about how, and I have on the show, about how the WNBA has an issue with supporting their biggest star. But yet, it's still ratings, and they're still probably going to win. And Caitlin Clark does bring in talent. So I'm not going to complain about it. But yeah. Also, by the way, Matt should be here soon, so it should be fun. I don't know about y'all. I'm really excited for college football this year. And this is just me going around for about 5 seconds. So, I don't know if you guys are familiar. there is Florida and Miami have a big rivalry, obviously in the state of Florida, and everyone knows Florida State, Miami FSU, or Florida State versus Florida. But kind of the forgotten rivalry that's kind of fun is Florida versus Miami. I did not know this until Father's Day. Thank you to Mario Cristobal for tweeting this out. Or it might have been Mario Cristobal's spam account. I cannot find the post. In the last 40 years, Miami has only lost to Florida twice. That's awesome. And they play each other. I believe they play each other. I think it's September 24th. I believe this one is in Coral Gables, I believe, because the last one was in Gainesville where Cam Ward dismantled them. And I'm not going to lie, I'm excited for this year. We also get to play Florida State, and we get to play Notre Dame. All I need is like a Clemson game thrown in there, and like I get to take on my entire hierarchy of hate as a Miami fan. I want to see Carson Beck throw. And I talked to him a little bit on Tailgate in the Quad a few weeks ago when I was on. By the way, go check out that episode. It is on Kev's YouTube channel. And Kev asked me serious about Carson Beck. And I said, listen, it's not – I don't need him to be Cam Ward. Cam Ward is a once-in-a-generation quarterback in college. I need him to be Carson Beck of 2 years ago for Georgia. Hit your throws, run play action, maybe make a big throw here or there. Don't screw it up because Miami actually has a decent roster that could probably go toe-to-toe with Clemson. I'm okay with it. So I think this year the ACC is going to be a lot more competitive. I think there's going to be a lot of teams above 500. It's not as going to be as lopsided. I think obviously SMU you're going to have back again. They have a lot of their guys returning besides Brashad Smith, former Hurricane. Obviously Kate Klubnik and Clemson, and then you obviously throw in Miami because they keep reloading. My favorite thing is, they're talking about Florida State being kind of this up and ready to go program, and I'm kind of just sitting there like, no, maybe not. But ladies and gentlemen, finally giving me some relief from shutting up for the past 27 minutes. My co-host, my friend, Jake Smigglesworth, a.k.a. Swagoo, and Indiana Pacers hater, Matt Ordazzo.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Pacers right now. Very happy that the Yankees finally won a game. They snapped their 6-game losing streak. They were shut out 3 games in a row. They finally put some runs up the other day, and thankfully I don't have to hear the Angels have swept the Yankees in a 4-game skid. Don't have to worry about that.
Dude, Diamondbacks finally won last night. I was like, oh, thank God. Or they won tonight. I can't do it,
your caption is hitting home right now because I am currently doing the show in my upstairs spare room because the many dogs are downstairs that we have to house sit for the next weekend. And I don't have AC in this room upstairs, so it is quite hot.
Yeah, I
get the AC.
I got a fan kicking on me right now. Because the problem is we just my parents just redid half their house. So, like, the AC is not in the windows yet. And so, unfortunately, for me, I'm trying to help my dad last night, but he's doing a side gig with one of his friends today. Person being retired, right? I worked outside in the heat all day doing a move. It was 90 degrees or more. And I'm kind of just like, oh, this is hurting. Also, bear in mind at that point, I reached out to 27 different guests. The last one said yes, and then was a complete wiener and kind of left me dry. And he gave me a really lame excuse why I couldn't make it, and I'm really pissed off at him. But this is also why I don't text him much. So, okay.
That answers my question.
I still love the dude to death, but he kind of did me dirty today, and he really gave me a really crap excuse. And genuinely, I'd yell an F-bomb at him if I saw him in person because he did kind of F me over on this. But I was able to make it 27 minutes talk about myself. Yes! And I didn't feel like I was going insane. But Maddie, how's life, brother? Besides being the dog hotel for the next 3 days.
Man. It's nice because my dog could use a friend. He's one of those dogs where he's really good with other dogs, but he also enjoys being an only child. So I've already saw some sprints of it today where he wants to eat his food and the other dog wants to see what you're doing, and he's like, no, this is my time. And then I got to go separate them and be like, all right, you eat here and you eat there. and then figure out if they can comprehend that in their brains. But besides
That's what
that, you know,
I've been doing that with Ghost for the past like year and a half with Boo moving in. I mean, he's chilling. He's passed out here on my couch, just hanging out. So in the rants, I talked about Sophie Cunningham being the new enforcer for the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. I love her. And if this isn't even like, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. It's not an attractiveness thing like it was with like Kelsey Plum or whatever. I just love her game. I love what she's doing. Like the girl, by the way, was a high school kicker. I think she's a black belt in judo or taekwondo or something. She's a black belt in martial arts. I'm not sure what it is. And on top of that, she's just got some swagger. And her TikTok's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, you know what? You're my new favorite WNBA player. Like obviously, we all love Caitlin Clark, but it's kind of like liking Jordan or LeBron. It's kind of like okay, but
yeah, it's kind of like everybody likes Caitlin, but it's like who else do you like? Like it's kind of like Caitlin's too easy.
My girl now, like she's awesome. I'm genuinely a fan of her.
You know, give me Haley Van Lith, give me Aja Wilson, give me Kelsey Plum, give me somebody else.
You know what's so funny though? I can't root for anybody who's on Angel Reese's team, even though my favorite thing right now is. Dude, those guys on TikTok who are literally were on a hot streak of like biblical proportions, betting on Angel Reese to miss her first shot.
Yeah,
that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh Lord, I was dying. I watched like a compilation of their videos and I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
I haven't forgotten about it, Haley Van Lith.
We all love HBL, man.
But no, I loved the tenacity from Cunningham. It has nothing really to do with Caitlin Clark. It just has everything to do with if your teammate gets popped like she did, poked in the eye, shoved or whatever, like you got to have your teammates back. Like that just makes me think of like on the Yankees, whenever anybody ever came after anybody on that team, CC Sabathia, no matter what the circumstance was, had that guy's back. I've seen him give up. CC, I've watched him give up, you know, career accolades that would have earned him some serious incentives on seasons to pluck a batter to prove a point to have his team's back. So that's why I have so much respect for that guy. But I have respect for Cunningham in the sense of she had her teammates back. She was like, that was dirty. And she was like, I'm going to take you to the ground and I'm not going to let you guys get away with that. So I have a lot of respect for the fact that she had her teammates back. That's what sportsmanship and that's what teams should be like.
It's nuts. And you know what's
and I think it's jiu-jitsu. I think it's jiu-jitsu that the black belt's in.
I don't think it's jiu-jitsu because I feel like I would have heard because like I have buddies who do the jiu-jitsu and they're like they'd be bragging about it. I don't know. We can find out. This is why I miss Nate, man. But Nate, by the way, Nate's Wi-Fi is legit gone. Like he cannot get on to work or get on to do the show, and I feel horrible for him.
Yeah, Nate, make sure you pay that last month's bill.
I don't think it was that. I think he I just think they knocked out a wire. Maybe somebody got in a car accident by him or something.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. They might have hit a tower. Cell tower.
And then, you know, to our guest who forgot about the show and went to the gym and didn't realize what time it was. He's got to do a show at 8. Dude, you suck. I'm sorry. I'll call him out. I'm a little annoyed with him right now. I won't say his name. Oh, wait, his name's on the show. I'm still mad at him. He's still my boy. I love him to death. And I wish him obviously luck with his new gig because he's killing it. But kind of screwed me today. But hey, listen, I made it 29 minutes of talking straight about bullshit, and we made it to you getting on. We can't do a KB draft tonight because we need at least 3 people to do the draft. But Maddie, I want your opinion on this as an outside source because maybe you have a better view of this. How do you think, honest to God, gun to your head, the records of the 4 teams in the NFC East? Because I got in this argument with a guy at my gym who listens to the show. Shout out. And he said to Ralph, my bad, I forgot to say his name. He said to me, he thinks the Commanders are going to go first place, Eagles second, Giants third, Cowboys fourth, or Giants Cowboys kind of tied for fourth. And I said, how do you figure? And he's like, oh, you guys lost so much on defense. I'm like, I mean, we really kind of just got younger. I get the Josh Sweat thing, but everyone doesn't get it that like the Eagles didn't even lose their best rushing D tackle. They lost their third best. Because it went Jalen Carter, then Moro Ajomo, and then Milton Williams. Milton Williams just made all the big plays because Jalen Carter was making all the sacks. Like I kind of have this weird kind of uncomfortable feeling that Milton is going to have like a down season, not down, but like not like a Pro Bowl season in New England. He's going to be good, but it's not going to be like what they paid him for. because he's not going to have Jalen Carter absorbing a double team every time, him be one-on-one with the guard. And then Josh Sweat, yeah, he was an amazing edge rusher, but Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith were out of control last year once they got hot. And I like this new kid, Uchi, out of Kansas City. And we signed another edge rusher whose name I cannot remember right now.
I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head right now.
I know who it is, and it's going to kill me. We also have Jahad Campbell, who's probably going to rush the passer because he's not going to play off-ball linebacker. He'd be fourth in the depth chart.
He was supposed to go top 20, and he slips to you guys all the way at like 32. That was insane. The NFC East is interesting because looking at the strength of schedules, the Giants have the hardest schedule. The Eagles have the fourth hardest. The Dallas Cowboys have the fifth hardest, and the Commanders have the eighth hardest. So nobody really has an easy, but I'll say it this way. I think it's going to pretty much be the same thing as last year. All right, hold on. Let me not. See, here's the thing. It's the easiest components. Eagles are going to be in first. Mm-hmm. Giants are going to be in fourth. It's the easiest thing to do.
Giants in third.
Who's going to be in fourth?
I think the Cowboys. I think this is the Ponzi year. I think this is where they chuck it in a meat grinder because the Pickens move threw me off a little bit off of my theory, but they didn't fix their defense at all. I mean, at the end of the day, they could be a 11-6 team. Or they could be 7-10. I'm not sure.
I think the Cowboys are going to hover around that like 9-8 mark. I think they'll do just enough to be over 500, but I think barely. Like I think this is how I think it's going to. I think the Eagles are going to wind up going like 13-4. It could be 14-3.
You're more optimistic. I have them going 12-5.
I mean 12-5, 13-4. One of those. They're going to be first place in that division. I think Commanders will be second. It's tough because I think the addition of Deebo Samuels is going to be pretty big for that offense. The defense got
you're bigger on Samuel than me. I'm not a fan, dude. I thought he had one flash in the pan season, and he's been an overpaid waste of space for the rest of his career.
Yeah, but I think he's still better than Luke McCaffrey right now.
Yes.
So
in that comparison, yes, you are right. I think it is an improvement, but like everyone looking for him to be like a great number 2, it's like.
No, I'm not saying he's going to be like an elite number 2, but I think like maybe he will have a better than expected season with the Commanders when he doesn't have to be that focal point of that offense. Like He doesn't have to be the number 1 guy. They have Terry McLaurin. They also have a 2-headed running back system with Eckler and Brian Robinson. Jaden Daniels can also not only throw for 300 yards, but he can also run for 75 if he wants to. So there's just a lot of playmakers on the team. I think Zach Ertz resigned with them.
Yeah, he did. Trader.
Which even though he is way past his prime, he's still a very productive tight end when he's in use. So I think offensively, I think they'll be better than they were last year. Defensively, they're probably going to be same, maybe take a step back just because they lost. I think it was Payne that they lost in free agency. They traded. I think they drafted a defensive guy in the first round, but I think it's going to go. Eagles are going to be in first. I think Commanders, whether it's 11 wins, whether it's 10 wins, I think they'll get second place. And I think it's going to come down to obviously the Cowboys and Giants for last. My only thing is that I don't have as much optimism for the Giants offense as maybe some people do. I understand you got Scatterboo with Tyron Tracy.
I think Scatterboo is going to be just average. He's going to be your typical like Corey Clement, like decent number 3 back. I don't get the hype. I get it. This is, and I hate saying this because it sounds so entitled and douchey, but it's separate. Hype about Scatterboo separates actual people who watch film and watch football to people who just know the name from what he did in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And
I mean, listen,
I hate saying that. I really do. Because I think he could be a decent kind of change of pace back for Tyrone Tracy. But, buddy, I'm not like he runs a 4.8 was his 40 time? That was my 40 time in college.
I like him a lot. I hope he is what we all hope he's going to be. But at this moment, he's probably a Danny Woodhead.
I'm okay with that if I'm the Giants.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I think
more like power Danny Woodhead.
Realistically, you're probably expecting a Danny Woodhead, but you're hoping he could be like a diet Saquon. You're hoping. But, I'm
hoping for a diet Peyton Hillis. That's who I want out of him.
Yeah, he's going to be an RC Cola.
Just a sledgehammer with hands. Like that's all I want. If I'm the Giants, what I want for him is I want him to be just a sledgehammer with hands. Just catch the ball, level somebody in the secondary, get 7 yards, hype the crowd, hype the players up. Because I think one of the biggest things people will forget is how much hype a power back can get you in a game.
Yeah, my thing with the Giants offense though is they're only going to go besides the defense, they're only going to go as far as that offensive line is going to protect them.
And as far as whoever's under center gets the ball out.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Russell Wilson is way past his prime. How long do you think Russell Wilson goes?
I think he's only going to be up there for a couple of games. I think we might get to see some Jameis. Hell, we might get to see some Jackson Dart. I'm not buying all these minicamp reports yet. Don't talk to me about depth charts or anything until halfway through. Well, what do you usually say? Mid-August, halfway through training camp? That's when I was like, okay, now let's start hearing it. But
listen, and I also, I think them drafting Jackson Dart really benefits Joe Shane more than it benefits Brian Dable, because Joe Shane drafted Jackson Dart, yes, but like if the Giants go 0-4, as a coach for Brian Dable is going to be coach for his job, you're going to have to start looking at, all right, I might have to go throw Jameis in to see if there's some spark here because Russ ain't getting it done. And you can go 5-13, but at the end of the day, you're probably more likely to move on from Brian Dable than both Joe Shane and Brian Dable, because I think Jackson Dart, even if he performs somewhat okay, I think that's going to save Shane's job more, because if you have a bad record at the end of the day, that's on the coach for not getting the job done. So they're going to look at him first. But I still think even if the Giants go 6 wins, I still think they finish in the 4th spot. I'm not high on them this year. I know they're going to have a great defensive line. I don't think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. I know there's a lot of optimistic Giants fans out there, and I understand. I could be an optimistic Jets fan, but I'm also shooting for like 6-7 wins as a Jets fan this year. But I think the Giants go 4th. I think Cowboys go 3. I think the Commanders go 2, and I think Eagles go 1.
I'm with you on that one. I think the only thing is, I think I have just some weird feeling that the Cowboy season is going to go up in flames. But here's my other theory. What if Jaden Daniels has a sophomore slump?
It's possible. We saw that with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, and then we've seen it before with I do believe. See, it's weird. The 2020 class was kind of abstained from that. Burrow in his second year as a starter, Super Bowl. Hurts in his second year as a starter, Super Bowl. Like Herbert was a Pro Bowler. Tua, Pro Bowler. Jordan Love, second year as a starter, was not bad this year. I'm not so. Yeah. The best way to put this is the 2020 class is excluded from the slump, but everyone Trevor Lawrence's second year, he was terrible. Wait, no, was that Urban Meyer was 2021?
Second year was
second year. Okay.
So he had a resurgence, but then he slumped in 3 and 4.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Zach Wilson.
If I'm Jacksonville, I'm looking for that. If I'm Liam Cohen, I'm like, all right, this guy's got 1 year to impress me, and then I'm sending
Mac Jones pretty much. Mac Jones went downhill from 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson just never peaked.
Zach Wilson peaked at his draft combine workout.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah, that throw was the height of his career, and he didn't even know it. Stroud's a good example. I mean, I'm hoping he gets back on track this year.
I love CJ Stroud. I think he's a really, really talented quarterback. I think the biggest issue is I don't know what the Texans front office is doing. And Theo Ash, I disagree with a lot of his takes a lot, but he says something very poignant on Twitter, on TikTok. He's like, they have no offensive line. It's not good. They got rid of Green, who's supposed to be a fixer. And, Green's probably going to end up being a Pro Bowler in Philadelphia because Jeff Stoutland's the greatest offensive line coach ever.
They traded Tunsil, right?
Yeah, they traded Tunsil. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Are they just trying to get, CJ killed? I don't know. They added Nick Chubb. Awesome. He's going to get 1 yard a carry because he's not going to have anywhere to go. Dude, there's a lot. The only divisions I actually soundly can pick a winner. Like, like people like pick divisions on bets. There's only like 2 divisions I'm sound in. The NFC East, I'm pretty sound in that one. And then I'd say NFC South Buccaneers. That's it. Everything else, gone. Because even in the AFC West, where the Chargers reigns through, I guess AFC North with the Ravens too. I'll give the Ravens the AFC North. You're muted, brother. You're muted.
There we go. The Texans, they drafted an offensive tackle in round 2 in Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota. And that was the only offensive lineman that they drafted.
I like his tape, so I'm not going to say he might be great. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I'm saying they took 1 out of the 9 picks that they took. They had that 1 in the second round.
So I feel so bad for Nate, dude. He was about to hop in the show because I wanted to talk about the Lakers getting sold, and total ADHD moment here. And then his just Wi-Fi freezes, and then he's out, and then he's texting like, "Dude, like my Wi-Fi's gone." I'm like, ooh. And then I text our guest. I was like, "Yeah, where you at?" He goes, "Oh, I was at the gym, and I completely lost track of time, and I got at the show at 8." And I'm like, "This is why I don't text you, dude. I love you, but this is why I don't text you." Why you were 27th on my list. Oh, by the way, we have like guests lined up for the next like 4 weeks in a row for Thursdays. I'm actually kind of hyped about this now.
Nice.
We got
the Dodgers
return of Mike. By the way, we have the possible return of Mike Burlon. First time since 2021.
There we go.
Scotty K's coming back.
Nice.
Cruz is coming back.
I've been calling for Scotty K's return for like 4 weeks.
Bro, I know. I keep telling him you're a huge fan, but like, dude, he's a busy guy. He got 2 kids. He works in media.
I know he's a busy guy. Every time Jared's like, any out of the ordinary guess, I'm like Scotty K. He's like, no. I'm like, damn.
I hit up Scott because I love Scott. Scott's my dude. I would love to get Mookie on here, but trying to get Mookie on the show would be like, I'll text him after the show. I'm like, hey, miss you, pal. Hope everything's well. Would love for you to come on the show at some point because Mookie is a different breed of animal when it comes just as a show guest. He's made for this a show of this magnitude. But yeah, so a couple fun guests. We're hopefully gonna have Cruz on next week. Everyone loves Cruz. May try to get Mr. Lipoff back on the high-low boys. Vince Stover's trying to get on more. I don't know where Brent is. I hope he's okay because I haven't heard from him in like a week and a half. And I'm like, oh boy. Hell, we might even bring our boy Daniel Cruz from BS session, Time to BS on at some point. He's a fun dude. He's funny. We might bring him on at some point. A lot of fun guests for the summer, and obviously KB drafts are fun. I just wanted to get a show out today because I was like, you know what? I miss talking sports. I want to do it. I don't care if nobody shows up. And I was ready to call it, and then our guest texted me. I was like, yes. And then I was like, this is too good to be true. It is. So I'm gonna one-man show this one until Matt gets here. But Matt, like the great sidekick he is, comes up big for me.
I know. Nate's like, oh man, I can't come back. I was like, don't worry, they just called me in. I'm warmed up. I'm coming in for the night.
This is why we are a team. Because I was worried we were gonna because we got all this crazy weather up here right now, and like I was like worried our power was gonna get knocked out because we had to cancel a show once because I had no power.
Mm-hmm. There was 3 rain delays for the Yankees game today.
Yeah, they're all like 5 seconds. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was 40 something minutes in total, but there was 3 different spurts of it.
That's so wild. But all right. Obviously you have the Pacers winning tonight, right? I mean, outside.
Yeah, forget Pacers. Yeah, I'm gonna take. I can't say it. I'm gonna take OKC. I can't say the Twitter things I've been seeing. OKC is gonna win it in 6. I think. Listen. The Pacers have surprised me. I did not think – I thought that OKC was going to take this in 5. I thought it was going to be light work. I thought the West was going to dominate the East. And I thought SGA and Hartenstein and the rest of the OKC crew were going to just lay it on them. And Rick Carlisle has had that Pacers team prepared because Rick Carlisle's been there before. He's won he's won a chip in the finals before. He's a great head coach. He knows what he's doing. And he had that. He's got that team prepared. Obi Toppin looks great. But Halliburton, listen, you can't miss every single shot you take. You can't score 0. You can't.
I know.
And he did.
His ankle. Apparently, he's playing. I got the update. He's playing tonight. So I hope he can gut it out. But Matt, it's just Matty. I said this before, and maybe you could back this up. I said this to the folks who watch it. By the way, shout out to our 40 plus viewers right now. God, shout out, man. Appreciate y'all. This is just live. Usually we get a ton on replay, but like hell yeah, I appreciate y'all. Anyway, I said watching SGA and the Thunder win the finals this year is like watching the hero's journey of the underdog who wins it, but they do it in like a cheap kind of slimy way. It's just anticlimactic. It's like you fight so hard to the end, then you use a cheat code in a video game. You're just like, oh, this sucks.
It's like watching the Bad News Bears win the whole thing when they weren't supposed to.
Or no, it's like watching the Bad News Bears win the whole thing, but they have like 3 like high school players come on to play for them with fake like and just like keep smashing home runs. It kind of sucks. It really does because you know Oklahoma City Thunder. I root so hard. Like, I liked them back when they had KD, Russ, and and James Harden. I liked them back when it was just Russ. I liked it back when it was PG and Russ. When it was just SGA and the boys trying to take on Denver last year, I was like, yeah, let's go, fellas. Now I'm like, I hate y'all. Y'all the worst. Like, I miss Denver and Mike Malone yelling at Anthony Edwards for showboating. I miss that. It's kind of pathetic. I kind of look at OKC, I'm like, you were the most lame. I miss the Golden State years, honestly, because at least they beat you. It wasn't the refs helping. They just would make it rain an artillery barrage on you.
Yeah, you had the OKC Golden State era where you had Kevin Durant was like, if you can't beat him, join him. The iconic quote that led him to an NBA Finals ring finally. And now he's not even.
He
really
might be a Timberwolf.
That bad. I don't think anybody's going to give them the price that they want.
I think they're going to realize what Minnesota offered was legit, and they're going to be like, all right, so this is fine.
Yeah. Let him.
Also, dude, imagine how hype Anthony Edwards would be to play with his idol. That'd be crazy.
But he can go to it. Like, he's not going to be the 1 or 2 guy on Minnesota.
He'll be the 3. He'll be the 3 behind Randall and
Edwards.
And Edwards, yeah.
But he can be that guy that's just kind of like in the shadows. Like, listen, I'm going to have my usual KD games, but like the spotlight's not on me. There's no pressure. Like, I do good at great. If I don't do great, it's whatever. But like I think that'll be a nice combination for him. He doesn't have to be the main focus at his age anymore.
He literally just has to come in and be like, okay, hey, Kevin, I need you to hit like 15 shots in the next 2 games. All right, cool.
Yeah, you're in that point in your career where you can just do the vet minimum, and that'll be perfectly fine. Just if you go to the right team, the vet minimum is all there. Like the vet minimum for the Knicks or the Wolves would have gotten them over that hump and would have gotten them into the finals. They just needed a small push.
The Knicks, yes. The Wolves, no. The Wolves needed the refs not to be on OKC's side, and they also needed not to quit in Game 5. That game started off rough, and they gave up, and they were done. They were like, oh, there's nothing. So Minnesota needs a little bit of a culture. I think next year I need more Rob Dillingham. I need more. Hopefully they don't trade him. I need more Terrence Shannon Jr., who I think is just phenomenal. I love this kid. I think he's Gerald Wallace 2.0. I think he is a phenomenal player. I think he's a great number 3. He can hit shots. He can attack the basket, he can grab rebounds, play defense. So this is my comparison. When he came out of Illinois, I was like, oh, he is Crash Wallace to a T. One of my favorite players when I was growing up was Gerald Wallace. And I'm kind of just like, yo, I kind of dig this guy's game right now. So I love Terrence Shannon. I love Naz Reid. Love Julius Randle. I think they're going to let Rudy walk. I think they're going to try to deal his contract and get out of it from on. Because I think now it doesn't become detrimental anymore. They're going to have to pay a bunch of guys. I think they will pay Naz and they will pay Julius. I think they're going to let there's one more guy they got to let walk. But I think they're going to pay Julius and they're going to pay Naz because they want to keep that core 4 together of Jaden, Nas, Anthony, and Julius. But I'd love to see Katie on that roster. It'd be fun. I'd love to root for Katie for the first time in my career. I mean, I've rooted for him, but like have him on my team would be kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it's just it's his history. It's like even if you don't care for LeBron, having him on your team is pretty surreal because that is just history that you're going to be able to watch.
Dude, he's our generation's George Gervin. He is just a generational scorer that you're not going to see again for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to talk about the Lakers. So congrats to the Bus family. $10 billion in the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers to a venture capitalist. He owns, I think TWC is the company he owns.
Okay.
But yeah,
was this the same Dodgers owners or
no? I'm looking it up right now. So Jerry Buss, by the way, bought it for $67.5 million. Jeannie and her brother just sold it for $10 billion.
Wow. So listen, when it comes to sports, there's really not a
it's Mark Walter, the CEO and chairman of Diversified Holding Company, TWG Global.
Lane. I don't know where I got the Dodgers. I could not tell you where I got the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are pure evil. So
is that Magic Johnson?
I like Magic. I hate the rest of that group. Anyway, by the way, Mango Card is back, Maddie. The best summer beer of all time.
Oh,
anyway,
Mango Card,
so good. Everyone loves Mango. Everyone I talk to loves Mango Card. It's such a good
Mango Card is the one beer where if I have to buy a tall boy of it and pay $15+, I'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I had this IPA. It was called Rare Candy. Very good. A little thick, but very good. Also, amazing light beer. I even got Marcus to like it. My dad, he's very picky about his light beer. Garage beers. Love it. So that's in the holster for after the show. But yeah, Knicks. Sorry, Knicks, I wish they would sell.
Nah, they don't know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, I love the draft is in a week and they have no head coach. It is hilarious.
And you know what's sad is if they were to offer like a Mike Brown, Mike Malone, Jay Wright, like if they were to offer them the head coaching job, it is so obvious that they were their 5th, 6th, 7th choice. It wasn't even in their top 4 options. Like they want Jason Kidd. That's who they want.
Or they wanted Chris Finch or Ime Ibuka. Oh, by the way, who just got extended by the Rockets. Yeah, so good for him. Way to bounce back after that weird Boston thing that made no sense.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
that. Malika Andrews went ballistic for no reason. Do you remember? Because we had a show that night, and Malika Andrews is going ballistic on ESPN, and Stephen A. Smith is like getting on her. I'm just like, what is happening right now? But yes, congrats to the Lakers. Congrats, one of the Florida Panthers. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. Gentlemen, thank you for keeping the cup in America. The real country in America.
Canada can win the Nationals Cup or the Nations Cup, but they can't win the actual cup.
They can't win the real one. Woohoo! Yeah, I feel bad for Corey Perry. I just saw this stat today. 5 straight Stanley Cup losses. The last 5 teams that have played the Stanley Cup, he has been a part of. I feel so bad for this man, and I know it's been the Edmonton Oilers the past 2 years. I gotta figure out what the 2 teams he played for before because it's hilarious to me, and I feel awful. So I'm trying to pull it up right now. Oh wow, okay, so it's a video. Okay, so Dallas Stars. You got Dallas Stars here, Montreal Canadiens in 2021, Tampa Bay in 2022, and the Oilers the last 2 years. Wow. You cannot make – I feel awful for Corey Perry. And he's a very good player. The fact that I know who he is as a casual hockey fan means he's good.
Yeah. And I don't think McDavid of the Oilers, I don't even think he's going to resign.
No. Dude, McDavid to the Penguins. Let's get it running, baby. Send Kid out on top.
Yeah, the one thing, I mean, I'm not a big, I don't like the Panthers because they knocked the Rangers out the other year, but I was happy to see somebody I have a weird soft spot for, even though I'm a Rangers fan. I shouldn't like the Bruins, but I have like this weird soft spot for Marchand. Yeah, he's just like a good guy. Like, how do you not like him?
He's such a little weenie, like kind of shit talker, apparently. But like, dude, the thank you Boston chant at their victory celebration was hilarious.
I know,
because the Bruins traded midseason. That is the most Boston sports thing ever. We just talked about Devers on Monday. By the way, Devers is first at bat as a Giant gets a hit. I'm like, oh god, here we go.
I think he just got a triple. Then they said
his fat butt got a triple. And that's me saying it, calling him fat. And I'm fat as hell, and he just got a triple. Good for Raffy, man. Do you, bro? I swear. Oh, didn't the Red Sox didn't? It's not Dombrowski. There's GM. Whoever the new GM is.
Yeah.
He fired a director of scouting because of a hot mic.
Craig
Breslow. He fired their director of scouting or one of their scouts because of a hot mic because the hot mic he was talking smack about Breslow. That is funny. I'm sorry. I can't get over that. To me, it's like, dude, how soft of an ego do you have to fire a scout because you know you messed up? This Devers trade is stupid as hell. You underpaid like crazy. Oh yeah, Florida hockey, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. I hate that. I shouldn't say hate. It bothers me that Florida, one of the hottest states in the country, is winning all these hockey.
I love the irony.
It's winning all these hockey cups.
I love the irony. I think it's hilarious, dude. I am okay with hockey getting bigger in America. Have it surpass basketball. Maybe they'll get rid of Adam Silver finally. But like, I love hockey getting big in the South because hockey is a fun sport. My team sucked this year. That's why I don't care.
Yeah. My team was, we knew the Rangers.
Your team losing brings joy to my heart.
We did so bad.
My hatred of the New York Rangers, it's not even because of the team. It's because of Ranger fans. I went to college with so many Ranger fans who were so rude to me. Like, oh, you're a Penguins fan? I'm like, I've been a Penguins fan since I was like 8 years old. Before the lockout.
Isn't it funny how because I'm a Rangers fan, but isn't it funny how Ranger fans are so stuck up like that? And it's not even like they have like 5 or 6 Stanley Cup wins, and it's not like they've won in the last 30 years, but they're so like
their last win was before I was born. I'm kind of worried if they win, I'll die. Like it's
I mean, I'm happy to be a Rangers fan, but I'm not carrying myself the way that some of the fans are. Like Yankee fans, I don't carry myself that way. I am aware that we have 27 rings, but I'm also aware that we haven't won in 15 years.
Oh yeah, as an Eagles fan, I'm obnoxious, I'm loud, I'm proud of my team, but I'm not like punching holes in garbage trucks and kicking police horses. Like,
or jumping off poles.
No. First of all, I respect heights. I'm not afraid of heights. I respect heights.
I'm not doing it.
I have hung my legs off of like a 600-foot ravine and been fine. But I also understand if I slip, that's death. I'm done. That's Seacrest out. So it's like, that's the difference. Like my father, God bless him, fearless man, terrified of heights. Me, I've climbed up the side of my house. Dude, I broke into the Martha's Vineyard house once. I think I told you this story. It was the year you and Pat were out there. And it was the day before you guys came out. And my grandmother had gone to the store or she'd gone somewhere with my parents, whatever. And I was out there by myself and I went home early for the beach and my grandmother had locked the house. Rest in peace, grandma. And I scaled the side porch, like the big pavilion porch. I scaled the side of that part of the house and climbed in like Spider-Man.
No, too much. I would have just sat in the front porch.
I wanted my beer. I broke in, played Xbox for an hour and a half, unlocked the shower, grabbed the towel. It was hilarious, but yeah, random story about me committing a B&E on my own house. So funny. Because like I get, you know what happened? I think my sister or somebody took like the key, like the key for the spare key was gone. I was like, God damn it. So anyway, I'm out of stuff. Unless you got anything else to talk about, let these folks go.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm very happy the Jets are not in the limelight. They have not been talked about more than like 5 times in the last 6 months, and that's pretty good.
And it's been mostly positive with Sauce and Garrett Wilson possibly signing. It's been positive.
Yeah, no.
Mosley did retire today, though.
Yeah, that sucks.
Have a good career, brother. Hell of a linebacker.
I think he played 10 or 11 years in the league, spent majority of his career with us. So I don't know. Take it as you will. I'll take it as he's a Jet. Yeah, he's not going to go in the Hall of Fame, but he's a Jet.
Hell of a player.
He's more of a Jet than a Raven. I'll take it. So that's one more we can claim.
Funny story. Still, my favorite story is that one of my aunt's best friends, that's her son-in-law. My aunt's met CJ Mosley. She was at a barbecue, and she's like, yeah, he's tall, he's got dreadlocks, and plays for the Jets, and he's very sweet, he's nice, and he's very quiet. And I'm like, his dreadlocks pink? She goes, yeah. I'm like, that's CJ Mosley.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a linebacker coming out of Alabama too. So
yeah, I mean, listen, he was in his early 30s. He was a little injured the last handful of years. It's probably coming, but one of the more, no matter what his age was, no matter what his state of physicality was, he was one of the best linebackers that we could have deployed in the last 8 years on that field. So hats off to him. Thankful for everything he's done for this team.
In terms of Jet linebackers, he's top 5. Not even close.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I've seen somebody as great and consistent as he has been for us was David Harris, and you have to go back over 12, 13 years for David Harris.
Animal.
He was one of the most underrated linebackers I think I've seen in my time. I mean, that was just a guy that every year I thought he was a Pro Bowler and he always got snubbed, but he was just he was a silent killer. No, he wasn't a big name. He was very good, and just somebody that should have got more love.
Yeah, totally. But ladies and gentlemen, to the 47 plus people who have tuned in today, we appreciate you stopping by. We'll be back on Monday for a regular scheduled Korner Booth podcast, and we promise next week Nate's Wi-Fi won't die, our guests won't cancel on us, and we'll be in a better mood. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have an amazing week. Enjoy your weekends. Go to a pool because it's hot as hell. It's supposed to be 100 degrees on Tuesday. I'm not looking forward to that. I'll probably be working. So, that being said, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Crack a beer for me. Smoke a cigar. Do whatever. Maddie, enjoy running the dog hotel.
I'll try. Try my best.
Shout out to our sponsors. Righteous Felon promo code Belly for 15% off. Candidates promo code Belly 20 for 20% off your purchase at checkout. And of course, SeatGeek, the best ticketing app on the planet. $20 off your first purchase. Belly Sports is the code. By the way, my hat for my competition is on the way. Just ordered today because MLB Shop had a nice discount code. I was like, sweet. So I got to only pay for taxes and shipping. Nice.
That means I need to look into some DC Defenders Championship gear when they release it.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend. Adios. Oh, happy Juneteenth, by the way.